So welcome to Here and Gone. And if you're watching this tomorrow morning with your cornflakes and coffee, I couldn't be happier. Recording it is the way to preserve it for posterity. And still adjusting things, still getting my guitars in tune. I've got a ton of content tonight, both covers and new original songs. My friend Livingston Taylor, when he started his webcast, which he does for Martha's Vineyard, which seems to be his primary residence now, him and his wife. And he started counting when he started his shows. So he's up to 200 and some shows. When I started this webcast during COVID from necessity, and then after COVID, I kept doing it because I enjoy doing it so much. It's nothing like a Martin on a Friday night, right? He numbered them and I did not, but I will estimate, and my estimate is we're up to maybe 200 shows now. That's a lot of content, since each show is an hour. Let me start and get in the mood. Whatever day or night you're watching this, this is certainly one of the most beautiful melodies ever written. It's written by Jay Unger, and it was on an album called Fiddle Fever that was released years ago. And it kind of, like so many great albums, just sunk into obscurity until Ken Burns discovered it and used it as the main theme for his Civil War series. Pay no attention to that noise. And you know it, but it still stuns me how he just kind of dreamed this melody. just a word of apology, as I didn't nail the ending. I didn't stick the ending, as Liv Taylor says. That's doing that, what I just did, and I'm not making excuses, but it's actually like the absolute hardest thing you ever have to do as a musician is to play a prescribed melody and play it flawlessly, because the whole thing falls down like a house of cards if you hit one wrong. No, let me show you. I'll give you an example. Okay, see, if I did that right from the get-go, you're dead, because you just lose the thread. One of the greatest books on writing ever written was by John Gardner, the great writing teacher and the great writer. Pardon me for drinking out of the bottle. John Gardner came up with his theory of writing fiction and taught it in 3 books: The Art of Fiction, On Becoming a Novelist, which is probably my favorite, and On Moral Fiction, which was a very controversial book when it first came out. But Gardner was killed in a motorcycle accident, and what a loss that was when we lost John Gardner. His theory of fiction writing was, he called it the vivid continuous stream. And so his argument was, if you make a mistake in your writing, it's not fatal. It's not, there are lots of cheap detective novels, he said, that break a lot of rules, and he said they turn out fine, and people love reading cheap fiction at times. And his argument too is that cheap is debatable. Fiction that is in a genre like science fiction or detective fiction is way better, in his opinion, than pretentious artsy fiction that the New York Review of Books raves over. And I would heartily agree. And those books come out hundreds and hundreds of times a year. The vivid continuous stream that he speaks of is the same as that melody line I was just playing you, that if you make a mistake, it's not that people hold it against you, it's just that they wake up for a minute. They wake up out of that dream that you're trying to get them to just lull them into it. And there's the school of thought that one of the world's greatest poets, Donald Hall from New Hampshire, he was poet laureate of the United States for one administration. I can't remember what, maybe under Clinton. Donald Hall said that every great poem has at least one flaw in it. So even as much as you try to make things flawless, there's going to be mistakes, but you try to minimize them so that you can just get people to relax and enjoy it. Now, this is a song of mine on my beloved concert ukulele built by Donna Loprinzi. Her father, Augie, was one of 11 or 12 children and did most of his guitar making in Flemington, New Jersey. And she's an artist, and this is a work of art, this beautiful little... I'm not going to play that song, but anyway, this is my original song from a couple of years ago. It's on my album, I Can't Stop Myself. It goes like this. When I'm asleep, I don't see Meryl Streep. I'm always dreaming of you. I long to turn in so the show can begin. I'm always dreaming of you. Each night I pray that I'll wake up someday and the wish of my dream will come true. And happy we'll be and you'll say just like me, I'm always dreaming of you. Each night I pray that I'll wake up someday and the wish of my song will come true. So turn out the light, every night's a good night. I'm always dreaming of you. I'm always dreaming of you. When you're a guitar maker or ukulele maker or any instrument maker, I wonder if you get a broad appreciation for how your instrument goes out into the world and has a little life of its own, or a big life of its own if you're a famous person. I posted a picture on my Facebook page this week of Phil Keaggy playing a left-handed Olson guitar that he had specially made by Jim Olson, who's a pal of mine, lives out in Arizona, and builds James Taylor's guitars, which cost $25,000 now for the James Taylor model. It's like buying a fine violin, like a Stradivarius or something. And for those scoffers who think, oh, well, you're never going to get that money back. Well, actually, it's the opposite of that. You can't buy Olson's used. I think they start at around $25,000 to get one used. And so Phil Keaggy, of all things, it wasn't even an official show business gig. Phil Keaggy knew Linda McCartney's cousin, and Linda McCartney's cousin asked Phil to play her wedding out in California. Phil knew that he had quite a few months advance notice that Paul McCartney and Linda, of course, were going to be there. They're very family oriented, and he brought a left-handed Olson, and there's, so far to my knowledge, there was only one picture ever, and that was the day that he received it. Paul McCartney sat there with Phil Keaggy and played it, and one of my best friends, Steve Philp, asked me, is there any record of McCartney recording with that guitar? And I said, not that I know of. It doesn't work that way, really, when you come down to it. People who are as busy in the studio as McCartney, they don't normally, catalog like every single guitar they use. We know that he used his Martin D28 on Blackbird, and my friend David Spinoza played his Guild D40 on McCartney's song Another Day, and he sat across from McCartney and played while McCartney was playing his D28, so he can confirm that that's the guitar they used on Another Day. And 40 years ago, David Spinoza, who was my first major producer, he showed me how they played it. And you go, well, it's only like open chords. It's not much to learn, but there is, because here's the normal way you play a B7th. And they played it like this. This beautiful organic walk down. Every day she thinks that she waits a bit. And another ready for the day. Just another day. Stepping in the stockings, in the shoes, in the pocket of the raincoat. It's just another day. But I posted a picture this week of Paul McCartney in his underwear. He had colorful boxer shorts on in the kitchen of, I bet that kitchen was the kitchen of Linda's cousin's family. And McCartney stayed over, the McCartneys stayed over at the wedding, and the next morning or wherever, there in his underwear, he was playing the Olsen. So I'm going to send that picture to Jim Olsen. And hopefully it'll be a thrill for him to see how his guitar has gone out into the world. Anytime he wants to see James Taylor's guitar, all he has to do is turn on YouTube and see a million beautiful videos of James Taylor. I've written a lot of songs. The last one I just played you was an old song, or 10 years old maybe. And this is a new song from just a week, this past week. It's called Down to the River. I got my heart broke when I was 13. Knocked me for a loop, if you know what I mean. I went down to the river, let it wash my tears away. I got engaged at 21. She ran into an old flame, and we were done. I went down to the river, and I let it wash my tears away. I was born by the river, and my brother fished me out and saved my life when I was 3. He grew up to be a pastor, yeah. And when I was born again, he's the one who baptized me. At 29, made me feel like my life had just begun. I went down to the river, and I let it wash my tears away. I went down to the river, and let it wash my tears away. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now I can hear the Stingers doing that song. And all things being equal, If the Creek Don't Rise, that little band from the 80s, we had 2 records and numerous enjoyable gigs, mostly at O'Connor's in Watchung. That little congregation may be reforming for a gig in Frenchtown, New Jersey. And my guess is January might be the possibility. Everybody's on board for it, of the original guys. And as I told Jack Moore, the lead guitar player who now is a resident of New York City and plays in Broadway shows, I told Jack the reason why I'm excited about it is that I think we're all so much better musicians now than we were. All 4 of the original quartet have all stayed in professional circles in music, and we have diligently applied ourselves to that elusive art of playing the blues, playing pop music, et cetera, et cetera. So Jimmy Garabo, Dan Caruso plays all the time, and he plays with a lot of congregations down at, I don't mean congregations in the religious sense, but congregated musicians down in the Jersey Shore area where the season is just about wrapping up. So I think the last kind of bars where they play outside next to the boardwalk, etc., those places are wrapping up. Now here's a song I wrote last night, okay? So it's gonna be pretty catch and catch can, I think. I hope I can get through it. It's not very hard, but you just hate to do a song and glitch it up. Yeah. Keep from on the ground. Yeah, it's like that kind of. It's a Travis picking song, and it's called "When the Trumpet Sounds." When the trumpet sounds, I want to be there. I want to meet the Lord in the air. In the meantime, I'll keep my feet firmly on the ground. When the trumpet sounds, I'll meet him in the air. This world at best is sad and lonely. There is doom and degradation everywhere. But I'm keeping my eyes on the sky. And when the roll is called up yonder, I'll be there. When the trumpet sounds, I want to be there. I want to meet the Lord in the air. In the meantime, I'll keeping my feet firmly on the ground. And when the trumpet sounds, I'll be there, yeah. The day will come and there will be no warning. It's bound to happen unexpectedly. In the twinkling of an eye, we'll walk on streets of gold. From the law of sin and death, we'll be free. When the trumpet sounds, I want to be there. I want to meet the Lord in the air. In the meantime, I'll keep my feet firmly on the ground. I'll figure it out. I'll work that out. It's rough, and it's not ready yet. Exactly. It's still gelling, as they might say. I got a little blues that I wrote last night at about 4 a.m. I also wrote a song at about 6 a.m. I can't explain it. It's a special little room here up in North Jersey. This is a Mad Cat guitar. You haven't seen this before. I've never played it on the show. It's modeled after Prince's Hohner, and the Hohner Mad Cat is what it's called. And that Hohner that Prince used since he was a teenager, and used at the Super Bowl, used everywhere, used at the concert for George. He played While My Guitar Gently Weeps. That guitar was $350 new, I believe. And the more famous he got, the more he could afford expensive instruments, the less he cared. He kept playing that Hohner. And then, yes, he played a couple of custom-made guitars too. Looks exactly like this. So let me see if I can piece this together. I could tell you so much about this. There was like 3 times in my life when I was on the beach and saw a beautiful woman. 3 different times. Once was in Florida, and I just had no clue as to how to say anything. And 2 times, and I'm afraid this is what you'll have to try to understand about dudes. You don't forget these things, you know. I mean, and add to that, like, my artist's obsessive memory, and I'm laying on my back on my bed, staring at. Okay, that kind of gives me the feel. This is called Thinking About You. I'm laying on my back on my bed, staring at the ceiling, yeah. I can't fall asleep, and the sun is coming up sooner. I can't turn my mind off, yeah. And I can't stop thinking about you. I can't stop thinking about you. I saw you on the beach every day, taking care of someone's children. I have never seen anyone as beautiful, no. I saw you look my way, and now I can't help it. I just can't stop thinking about you. No, I just can't stop thinking about you. I've got to find a way to make a connection. I don't even know your name, no. I needed someone to point me in the right direction, yeah. 'Cause no one's ever told me how to play the game. Oh, yeah, guitar, yeah. I'm laying on my back in my bed 25 years later, filled with regret that I let you get away. Can't turn my mind off, fall asleep, and I can't stop thinking about you. I can't stop thinking about you. Well, that was, from my point of view, an absolute disaster. I kind of just lost the thread. Maybe you could tell, and maybe you couldn't. I don't care. I don't mind trying something new here. We're all friends, and now we move on to a song that is really, really almost indescribable to me. I can't really figure out where this came from, and I am excited by it because it's kind of hypnotic to me. And I shouldn't give this away, but it's only 3 chords, in the same sense that I use Stevie Nicks. What's the name of that song that's, and there you go again? Is that called Dreams? Or Storms or something? Aren't you happy for me? I'm so up on my Fleetwood Mac history. After Peter Green left the band, I lost track of them. No, it's a joke. I wasn't into them in the Peter Green years, and now I totally am. You should go back if you really want to hear some brilliantly great blues guitar playing. Peter Green played a Les Paul throughout, and I think he started the band. I think it was called Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac, and he finally felt uncomfortable with that, and he took the name off and went back to it went to just being Fleetwood Mac. He was a really, really great soloist. He was so not about playing a lot of notes and playing with screaming distortion all the time. He played a lot of things kind of semi-clean. His guitar was cranked up. And guess who owns his Peter Green's Les Paul? It was a very unique Les Paul. It had one of the pickups was reversed so that it got a out of phase sound. And that guitar was bought by Kirk Hammett of Metallica, and he uses it. That guitar's called Greenie, and I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that I'm sure he paid in excess of $1 million for that guitar, because first of all, a 50s Les Paul is worth $1 million even before you decide who it's even owned by. This is my new song I really am strongly moved that I want to record this for you. And it's called I Thought I Heard Somebody Call My Name. I woke up in the middle of the night, heavy head and bleary eyes. I was deep inside a dream of rainy days and gray November skies, yeah. I thought I heard somebody call my name, the way you used to do when you were here. And for a moment I felt that you were near, and everything was still the same. The power of a single spoken word, when it's said one-on-one by your best friend, you'll shake off the deepest sleep you've ever known, when you feel you're in a love that will not end. I thought I heard somebody call my name, the way you used to do when you were here. And for a moment I felt you near, and everything was still the same. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thought I heard somebody call my name, the way you used to do when you were here. And for a moment I felt that you were near, and everything still the same. 3 o'clock in the morning song when all of the baggage of the day is forgotten and frees you up to write things that you might not have written in the hustle and bustle of the day. My uncle was an eminent hematologist, made some medical history, and he gave me my first 3 guitars. His name was Mike Kuhn. And my parents, I guess, were talking to him one night, and they were like, Chip sleeps all day, you know, and he stays up all night. And my uncle was an extremely conservative person, and he surprised them by saying, well, that's what I did when I went to medical school. He said, that's the only way you can really get concentrated work done. So they were, oh, okay. I was telling my friend this week how I've been playing this song for about 10 years. It's already been on the radio. This will be my last song for the evening or for the day if you're watching tomorrow, I hope. And I tried everything with this song. I always believed in it. I believe the lyric really tells a story. And this song has already been on the radio. It's been on the great John Weingart program on WPRB. And he gave it a big build-up and everything else, but it was just a demo that I made. And I still wasn't satisfied with it. Well, to make a long story short, this week in this magical space here, I got the key to it, and I won't bore you with the technical details of what that key was, but I will just play it for you and sign off, and then hopefully this is a song I'll record also. I've dedicated some time and energy in my life to exposing to people the great blues players by songs that I've written. And if anybody's interested or cares to notice, starting way back with my London Records album with Robert Johnson on it, then I did Blind Willie Johnson, which is out on the internet. That was on my I Can't Stop Myself album. And now I'm going to sing for you tonight this, I hope, finally finalized version of Bessie's Blues about Bessie Smith. And they all follow the same format. I don't know if anybody's noticed, but in every case, I sing the names of the artist's songs in the bridge. So I'll do the same thing here. Let me tell you a story about an old and soulful friend of mine. Bessie Smith was a singer who was so majestic, so much more than fine. Yeah. She was earthy as a diamond, but her voice was like the sound of the divine. She could sing the low-down blues with the power of a hurricane. Yeah. You could hear the thunder, could feel the driving wind and pouring rain, yeah. From the feet that held her ground to the eyes that held the deepest look of pain, yeah. She downhearted blues, and I ain't got nobody, and 'tain't nobody's business if I do. Who can say what she signified? There's no man-made invention that could step up what the Lord electrified. Yeah. Bessie died in Mississippi in a car crash in the middle of the night. Yeah. Lost her arm in Mississippi, turned away from help because she wasn't white. No. Lord, I wonder if your angels lifted Bessie Smith into your perfect light. Let me tell you a story. Thank you. God bless you. Have a great weekend. I hope to see you again soon.